Did you know that one of the most amazing stories in the Bible involves a woman whose loyalty altered the course of history? This is the story of Ruth, and it begins amidst loss and devastation. Stick with me to uncover how a young widow's devotion and faith brought redemption and fulfilled God's grand plan. Don't scroll away. This will leave you inspired. Our story begins in the small village of Bethlehem. A severe famine forced a man named Elimelech to take his wife Naomi and their 2 sons to the foreign land of Moab. In Moab, Naomi experienced tragedy after tragedy. First, she lost her husband, and then, after her sons married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, they too passed away. Naomi, now bereft and broken, decided to return to Bethlehem after hearing that the famine had ended. She urged her daughters-in-law to return to their own families, saying, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me." But here's the twist that makes Ruth's story so extraordinary. Orpah tearfully agreed and left, but Ruth clung to Naomi. Ruth's response was nothing short of monumental. She said, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." This declaration is one of the most famous examples of loyalty and devotion in history. Ruth chose Naomi not out of obligation, but out of love and faith in Naomi's God. The journey from Moab back to Bethlehem was long and arduous. When they arrived, Naomi renamed herself Mara, which means bitter, as she believed the Lord had dealt bitterly with her. But Ruth remained steadfast. To survive, Ruth went to glean barley in the fields, collecting leftovers behind the harvesters, as was the custom for the less fortunate. Now enter Boaz, a wealthy and kind landowner. Ruth found herself gleaning in his field. When Boaz first saw Ruth, he asked, "Who does that young woman belong to?" Upon learning of Ruth's steadfast loyalty to Naomi, Boaz extended incredible kindness, telling her to stay in his fields, offering her protection, and ensuring she received adequate food and water. "May the Lord repay you for what you have done," Boaz said. "May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Ruth was awed by Boaz's kindness and care. Following Naomi's advice, Ruth later approached Boaz boldly, asking him to be her kinsman redeemer, a responsibility in Israelite law where a relative marries a widow to preserve the family line. Boaz, equally deeply moved and honorable, agreed but first ensured that the rights of another closer relative were resolved. Ultimately, Boaz married Ruth, and their union was profoundly meaningful. Ruth, a Moabite woman and outsider, became part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. She bore a son, Obed, who would be the grandfather of King David, a leader after God's own heart. What an astounding story of faith and loyalty. Ruth's love for Naomi, unshaken by hardship, and her trust in God made way for blessings beyond imagination. Ruth's story reminds us that our loyalty and faith, even in the midst of adversity, can play a role in God's larger redemptive plan. So, what can we learn from Ruth? Sometimes, stepping into the unknown with trust and love is what it takes to fulfill a greater purpose. Think about it. If Ruth had not chosen to stay with Naomi, history would have taken a different course. Would you, like Ruth, take such a leap of faith? Do you know someone who needs this message today? Share this, and let's inspire each other to walk in loyalty and faith. #Bible, Faith, Christianity.